60 million Americans are about to experience the coldest air in 5 years, and most have no idea it's coming. The Arctic invasion begins tomorrow morning. Not next week, not in a few days, tomorrow. And the first wave could catch millions during their morning commute with snow they weren't expecting. Here's what you absolutely need to know. 4 separate winter systems are going to hammer the eastern two-thirds of the country over the next 7 days. No breaks, no warm-ups. Just relentless cold and snow. Is your city in the crosshairs? By the end of this emergency weather briefing, you'll know your exact risk level, when each system arrives, and the critical mistakes that could put you in danger. And in just 30 seconds, I'll reveal which interstate corridor faces gridlock tomorrow from surprise snow. Then at minute 5, the one date this weekend that changes everything for cities that haven't seen snow all season. The latest satellite imagery is showing something meteorologists only see a few times per decade. Let me explain what's happening right now over Canada. Here it is, as promised. Interstate 85 and Interstate 77 from Charlotte through Greensboro to Richmond could turn into parking lots tomorrow morning. A sneaky low-pressure system is developing tonight that most commuters don't know about. 3 to 5 inches during rush hour, accidents everywhere. This is happening in less than 12 hours. But that's just tomorrow's problem. The bigger story? The polar vortex is splitting. Think of the polar vortex as a giant refrigerator door. Normally, it stays closed, keeping Arctic air locked up north. But the door's opening, and when that happens, temperatures that should stay in northern Canada spill south into the United States like water from a broken dam. The temperature drop is going to be shocking. Minneapolis goes from 32 degrees today to -5 by Saturday. That's a 37-degree plunge in less than a week. Chicago from 40 degrees to 8 degrees. New York from 50 degrees to 18 degrees. But temperature is only part of the story. Wind chill is what kills people. Saturday morning across the upper Midwest, wind chills of -30 to -45 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, exposed skin freezes in under 5 minutes. Your car battery? It might not start. Your pipes? They'll freeze and burst if you're not prepared. Question: do you know how to prevent your pipes from freezing? Because by Saturday, it'll be too late to learn. Here's what makes this pattern so dangerous. The timing. December is when people are traveling for holidays, doing last-minute shopping, attending events. Normal life has to continue. But Mother Nature doesn't care about your schedule. Let me break down each system so you know exactly what's coming and when. System number 1, tomorrow, Monday, December 8th, the surprise attack. This one is already organizing off the Carolina coast tonight. Most forecast models miss this until the last 24 hours. That means cities aren't fully prepared. Salt trucks aren't pre-positioned. People aren't expecting it. 3 a.m. Light snow develops across central North Carolina. 5 a.m., snow reaches the Raleigh-Durham area. Roads start getting slick. 6 a.m., the height of morning rush hour. Snow is now falling from Charlotte to Greensboro to Raleigh to Richmond to Washington, DC. Visibility drops. Accidents multiply. Raleigh 2 to 4 inches by 9 a.m. Schools will likely close or delay. Greensboro 3 to 5 inches. Interstate 40 becomes hazardous. Richmond, 4 to 6 inches. Interstate 95 northbound will be a disaster. Washington, D.C., 2 to 3 inches. The Beltway gridlocks. 9 a.m. Snow begins tapering from south to north, but the damage is done. Why is this so dangerous? Because it's unexpected. The forecast 24 hours ago showed maybe a dusting. Now we're talking about accumulating snow during the busiest travel time. People won't have their cars scraped. Roads won't be treated. It's a recipe for chaos. If you live in this corridor, here's what you do tonight. Fill your gas tank. Move your car to a main road if possible. Have blankets and snacks in your vehicle. Consider working from home if that's an option, because tomorrow morning is going to be rough. System number 2, Wednesday, December 10th. The Midwest Massacre. This is an Alberta Clipper, a fast-moving system that originates in Western Canada and races across the northern tier. These storms are notorious for rapid onset blizzard conditions. Noon Wednesday, snow develops in Minneapolis. 2 p.m., heavy snow reaches Milwaukee and Madison. 4 p.m., Chicago gets hammered right at evening rush hour. Again, 6 p.m., Detroit and Cleveland are in whiteout conditions. The snowfall rates could reach 2 to 3 inches per hour during the peak. Plows can't keep up with that. Visibility drops to near zero. This is when multi-car pileups happen on the interstates. Minneapolis 6 to 10 inches with wind gusts to 45 miles per hour. Blizzard warnings likely. Milwaukee 7 to 11 inches. Thundersnow possible, which means even heavier rates. Chicago 5 to 9 inches during the worst possible time. The evening commute could take 4 hours instead of 1. Detroit 6 to 10 inches, then lake effect adds another 4 to 8 overnight. Cleveland 8 to 13 inches. This will be a significant event. And here's the kicker. Temperatures crash behind this system. By Thursday morning, these cities wake up to single-digit readings with wind chills below zero. Here at Minute 5, the complete weekend forecast that could finally end the snow drought for major cities. Saturday, December 13th. This is the date the entire Northeast has been waiting for. The European model is showing something it doesn't show often. High confidence in a coastal storm development. When cold Arctic air meets moisture from the Atlantic, you get nor'easters. And this looks like it could be a legitimate one. The setup is textbook. Strong high pressure over Quebec funnels Arctic air south. A wave of energy along the Gulf Coast moves northeast. The two collide off the mid-Atlantic coast Saturday morning. And that's when the snow machine turns on. This could be your first real snow of the season. 6 to 12 inches possible if the track is favorable. The city has seen almost nothing so far. That changes Saturday. Providence. Similar potential. Coastal Rhode Island could see 8 to 14 inches. Interior Connecticut often jackpots in these patterns. 10 to 16 inches not out of the question. You could be looking at 12 to 18 inches. This would be a major event. Now for the million-dollar questions. Does New York City get in on this? The answer? Maybe. If the storm tracks within 50 miles of the coast, yes. If it stays further offshore, it's mostly rain changing to snow at the end. Right now, I'd put odds at 50-50. The 5 boroughs could see anywhere from 2 inches to 10 inches depending on the exact track. Philadelphia, same story. The rain-snow line will be critical. North and west of the city should see snow. Center City could go either way. Baltimore and Washington, DC, likely too far south for big snow from this system. Maybe a coating to 2 inches as it pulls away. But here's what's guaranteed regardless of snow. The cold. Saturday's high temperatures across the Northeast will be in the low 20s, overnight lows in the single digits, wind chills Saturday night -5 to -15. And it stays cold. Sunday doesn't warm up, Monday doesn't warm up. This Arctic air mass parks itself over the eastern United States and doesn't budge for at least a week. The lake effect snow machine goes into absolute overdrive with this cold air. Buffalo, 2 to 4 feet possible in the south towns. This is serious, even for Buffalo standards. 18 to 30 inches of lake effect off Ontario. Erie, Pennsylvania, 1 to 3 feet off Lake Erie. Watertown could see persistent lake effect for 3 straight days. Some areas might get 40 inches. These aren't forecasts we throw around lightly. These are potentially crippling snow amounts for regions that know how to handle snow. Question: when's the last time you had to deal with 3 feet of snow? Because that's what some of you are facing. System number 3 and beyond, December 15th through 20th. The pattern continues. Long-range models are showing no letup. The trough stays locked in place. More clippers drop down from Canada. More snow, more cold. We could see another significant system mid-next week, then possibly another the following weekend. This isn't a one-week event. This could be 2 to 3 weeks of sustained winter weather. The total snowfall by December 20th for some areas could be staggering. Buffalo area, 4 to 6 feet total from all systems combined. 3 to 5 feet. Upper Michigan, 3 to 4 feet. Minneapolis, 20 to 30 inches. Chicago, 15 to 25 inches. Boston, 10 to 20 inches if the weekend storm delivers. Interior Northeast, 2 to 4 feet in the higher elevations. These are numbers we typically see over an entire winter, not in 2 weeks. Infrastructure isn't designed to handle this much snow this fast. Now let me tell you the hidden dangers nobody talks about. Carbon monoxide poisoning spikes during extended cold snaps. People get desperate when the heat goes out. They run generators indoors. They use gas ovens for warmth, and they die. Every single winter this happens. Don't be a statistic. Keep generators outside, at least 20 feet from windows and doors. Heart attacks from snow shoveling. When you're shoveling heavy snow in sub-zero temperatures, your heart is working overtime. If you're over 50, have any cardiac history, or are not in good shape, hire someone to shovel. Your life is worth more than saving $50. Roof collapses. Wet snow weighs 20 pounds per cubic foot. If you get 18 inches of wet snow, that's 30 pounds per square foot on your roof. Older buildings, mobile homes, barns, they're at serious risk. Clear your roof if you can do so safely, or hire professionals. Isolation and mental health. Being stuck inside for days or weeks affects people psychologically. Check on elderly neighbors. Call relatives who live alone. Depression and anxiety spike during extended winter events. Mental health is as important as physical safety. Supply chain disruptions. Trucks can't deliver when roads are impassable. Grocery stores run low on fresh produce, bread, milk. Pharmacies might not get deliveries. Stock up now while you can. Power grid failures. When you combine heavy snow, ice buildup, and extreme cold, transformers fail. Lines snap, substations overload. And in sub-zero weather, losing power isn't an inconvenience. It's a life-threatening emergency. Utility companies are already mobilizing crews from southern states. They know what's coming. They're preparing for widespread outages that could last days in some areas. Here's your action plan broken down by timeline. Tonight, Monday morning. If you're in the North Carolina to DC corridor, this is your window. Gas up vehicles, buy supplies, move important meetings or work from home if possible. Set alarm early to check conditions before commuting. Monday. Wednesday. Everyone from the Midwest to the East Coast needs to complete preparations. Water, food, medications, batteries, flashlights, test generators, insulate pipes, clear gutters, and downspouts. This is your last chance before the severe cold arrives. Thursday, Friday. Finalize everything. Charge all devices. Bring pets inside. Move firewood close to the house. Make sure vehicles are in working order. Call elderly relatives to confirm they're prepared. Saturday and beyond. Execute your plan. Stay inside unless absolutely necessary. Monitor weather updates constantly. Check on neighbors. Conserve heat if power fails. The difference between prepared and unprepared could literally be life or death when we're talking about -40 wind chills and multiple feet of snow. Let me address the skeptics. Some of you are thinking forecasters always hype winter storms and they never deliver. Fair point. But here's the difference. This isn't one storm we're forecasting, it's a pattern. Patterns are much more reliable to forecast than individual storms a week out. We know with very high confidence that Arctic air is coming. We know with very high confidence that multiple systems will develop. What we're still fine-tuning is exactly where each one tracks and how much snow each one produces. But the overall message is rock solid. Dangerous cold and significant snow for large parts of the country over the next 7 to 10 days. The European model, the American GFS model, the Canadian model, they're all showing the same general pattern. When multiple independent models agree on the big picture, you pay attention. Tomorrow I'll have pinpoint updates on the morning snow. Wednesday morning, detailed Midwest forecast. Friday, the final call on the weekend nor'easter. You need to follow along because details matter. Track shifts of 30 miles can change everything. Timing differences of a few hours can mean snow during rush hour versus overnight. Temperature variations of 2 degrees can mean snow versus rain. Stay with me, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe. Share this forecast with everyone you know in the affected areas. The more people who are prepared, the better we all get through this. This is real. This is happening. But we have the gift of advance warning. Use it wisely. Winter is here. Are you ready?